Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jared Link, and this is my signature assignment for KIN 720, Psychology of Sport. As you can see, my topic was internal and external visualization in athletic training and competition. So, kind of first thing to talk about is that over kind of historically, we've had this physical but not mental approach to competition, to performance, to how do we get better. Parents, coaches, and teachers kind of through the years have all perpetuated the cycle of you want to get better, well, you got to get faster, you got to get stronger, you got to get quicker, you got to become a better jump shooter, you got to become a better kicker, you got to become a better hitter, throw the softball faster, harder, jump higher to spike the volleyball, whatever it is. It's been a very physical approach, and for a long time, there was not we didn't put as much resource into the mental side of it. And now I think there's kind of been a paradigm shift to where even when I was in college, I think it started to shift, and really now it is. There's a facility called Sports Academy that's been around about 2 years locally to me that has since I've worked with them for about 2 years since they opened, since kind of its inception, and they actually have an entire academy, an entire part of their place dedicated to strictly the mental approach to mental performance. And you can actually buy a membership to do mental training, visualization training, which is pretty cool. And then also kind of that last part of the research, there has been a ton of research now going into the mental performance and specifically to sports performance, where before there was a ton of research going into the mind and it's powerful and what can it do. However, now it's strictly from the mind to sports performance, which is pretty cool to see, I think. To start with that, with the power of the mind, it was Hefner that did some research and found an old study that Dr. Biasotto did from the University of Chicago. Now, this really hit home for me because it was with basketball players, and I'm a college basketball coach, been a head coach now in my 5th year. So I feel like I'm a psychologist more than I am an actual basketball coach half the time, although I do not have a degree, so I cannot call myself that. Um, but anyway, so in this study, he took 3 groups for a month, 3 groups of basketball players for 1 month, for 30 days. The first group, they practiced their free throws every day. Just an hour a day, practice free throws. The second group did an hour of visual imagery every day. And in that visual imagery, they visualized themselves shooting free throws every day. The third group, they did nothing. They didn't practice their free throws. They didn't practice any mind performance, any mind techniques. They strictly did nothing. So after 30 days, they came back and retested. And what they found was the third group, as you would expect, kind of status quo. Nothing changed. The first group, whom practiced their free throws every day, they saw a 24% increase over 30 days in their free throw shooting, which is pretty good. That's pretty good over 30 days practicing every day. 24%, I like that. The second group, who did strictly visualization every day, saw a 23% increase. And remember, they didn't touch a basketball the entire 30 days, never touched a ball, came back and reshot free throws, just had worked on the imagery every day, and had a 23% gain. I'll tell you, it makes me feel like, why do we practice free throws every day? This is huge. This is huge for me to see and to learn about, because I'm a basketball coach and I go every day with our team, make us shoot free throws. I'm thinking this, why do I do that? So kind of overall in 1980, DeWitt had this cognitive training of, it's a generalized term for encompassing various techniques to help individuals alter their stress reactions to environmental events. Right? Really big words to say that it's a term that allows us to alter the way we deal with situations and environmental controls, environmental events, things that happen. Maybe we can actually prepare ourselves mentally for these situations. So that way, when adversity strikes, we are more prepped and more ready to go, more ready to handle it. So a lot of times we hear in visualization through the research, and I've heard this quite a bit over my career, of guided imagery and visualization, as opposed to just strictly hearing visualization, or seems some of those words seem to be synonymous in a lot of ways. But the overall goal and tendency, they want to remove these negative triggers and replace them with positive thoughts. You can see as Abdoli Razani Soteria, 2011, they kind of surmise that if we can remove those negative triggers, replace them with positive thoughts, we end up get to this point to where we can visualize real pleasant images. And it helps our body awareness when we're out there competing, and we create these sensory images. So this promotes this relaxation, heightened sense of concentration, of focus. It sharpens our focus. And then at the end of it, it creates more confidence. And really, as a coach, for me, and any type of athlete or a performer in any genre, really, we want more confidence in our daily lives and the daily tasks we have. So originally, it was 1984 when a new mark surmised in 2012 that in 1984 Olympics, the Russian researchers found that their athletes who used visual techniques prior to their performance actually had a better performance. They had better outcomes than the ones that did not. And they experienced a positive impact in mood and performance. Not only performance, but mood as well. So this is kind of the first time that we saw visualization techniques used specific to a sports setting. Kind of prior to that, there was research done in mental training and visualization techniques. However, nothing specific to the sports realm. So overall, there's 3 forms of mental imagery, of visualization, kind of guided imagery that are pretty common: internal visualization, external visualization, and kinesthetic visualization. And the first one, internal visualization, would be a very first-person review of it. So you are in your body, moving across the finish line, kicking the soccer ball, making the move, whatever it is in that situation, you are there. External visualization would be from an outside. You're an outsider. You're a spectator watching yourself cross the finish line at a certain time, watching yourself score the game-winning goal, get the game-winning hit. Whatever it is. And then kinesthetic visualization is kind of incorporating those, but also adding body movement. So if you were a fighter, you would be actually contracting the muscles at work. So your fist you would be contracting the muscles of your fist. If you were a soccer player, you might be contracting your leg muscle to kick the ball, and so on and so forth. And actually, according to Chalk in 2013, this is thought to be the most beneficial of the 3, which I think kind of makes some sense just thinking about it. So really awesome about internal visualization, for someone like me that I kind of like the science part, that it actually found that it increases neural patterns to the brain, which helps then to advance our neuromuscular coordination. So actual visualization is increasing our coordination. It increases the brain flow to the muscles, the actual neuromuscular junction there increases to the muscles. And then it creates a stronger neural pattern, which, again, will create a stronger and a more precise movement, which is huge. And then through these functional MRIs that they've seen that during visualization, there's actually a shift from the left to the right hemisphere of functionality in your brain. So what does that mean? What does it mean to go from the shift of the left to right? Well, for the most part, the left brain is associated with the analytical, our logical side. The right side has to be with creative. And that right side having more function, showing more function through a functional MRI, is what it shows to. That right side of the brain shows to have more visual imagery. It enhances our visual imagery and our performance. And this overall helps to make the image more vivid, which we want a more vivid image because then it imprints in our brain better. So Dr. Brasington, I spoke about this in the previous actual presentation that I did a few weeks ago, but Dr. Brasington is a sports psychologist that works at Sonoma State University, I think now, and when I was going there, he was working at teaching the peak performance psychology at Stanford University, and we were fortunate my junior year to work with him for the preseason. And the reason I have a guy sleeping is because it says nap time. When my team and I, the very first day, we did a very short 10, 15-minute visualization guided by Dr. Brasington. And after just 10, 15 minutes, 2 guys were sleeping and 1 was snoring. So we, being immature juniors in college, found it to be hilarious. And we also wanted to act cool in front of our teammates. Dr. Brasington, it didn't faze him at all. He just kept moving forward, which was actually, I thought, pretty amazing. Or at least nowadays, I feel it's amazing to not even give it a response. But really, kind of what Orlick says is that if you have never done any systematic performance imagery training, that you need to start simple with familiar skills, familiar images, stuff that you can really get to try to get to the point. And one of the things that I want to hit on there is that it's a skill. That this is something that is developed over time. It's not something you just one time get. That visual training, visualization is a skill set that we need to develop and we need to practice. So with Dr. Brasington, we stayed very simple. We talked about, we visualized ourselves dribbling, ourselves passing, and ourselves shooting that first day. And we, as the 3 months went on, we progressed to more complex ideas, being in a game situation. But like I said, it was start small and work forward. So Orlick also kind of like I hit on that as a skill, that the more quality imagery we do on-site and off-site, the more quickly our imagery will improve. And that should go with anything, but I don't know if we always think about it with our actual mental preparedness, with our visualization and guided imagery. So again, it's a skill and it's quality over quantity that's more important. A good 10 minutes is far more worthwhile than a very average 20 to 30 minutes. So as a coach now, we try to implement certain parts of visual training and visualization. So last year I actually had an athlete who said, I don't need it. I'm kind of good enough already. It's not going to help me. And okay, that's his decision to make. Our job is just to try to give him the information. But Dale Robbins in 2010 talks about how Michael Jordan used to see himself playing against his opponents and minimize their strengths and exploiting their weaknesses. Now here I am as a basketball coach thinking about this athlete who told me last year that he didn't need it. And when doing research here, I see that Michael Jordan has been using this for his career, that it helped him play in a free and positive mindset, helped him just be instinctual while he played because he felt he was already prepared for anything that happened. So it didn't matter. He wasn't worried about it. He could just go play the game. Pretty powerful considering that's maybe the best player to ever play. So there's this concept of the image over the actual visualization because we want to actually see ourselves perform. Dale Robbins talks about the kind of contradiction between the two, where we want to see ourselves perform and we want to incorporate as many senses as possible into this visualization. I kind of said earlier, the more vivid it is, the more we can imprint the brain. And that helps with that right brain function, the creative side, but it also helps if we think really specifically to images and create that illusion that I have been there before and now I've done. So it's like that illusion of I've been there, done that. An important piece of this is, I think, through visualization training. I even said that before about my athlete that said he was good, didn't need it anymore. It's not all on the athlete. That a lot of athletes just do not know enough about it and are not open enough to even try it. Sometimes in a group, it can be difficult to, and I know this from experience, it can be difficult to let yourself open. It's okay to fail, to make a mistake. It's okay to act a little out of the box where they're not normally. So coaches must teach and incorporate mental skills to enhance performance and reduce sports anxiety. That is clearly stated as one of the domains in the NASP book in 2006. It is important. And it's important that we as coaches create the environment where outside the box is okay. And we allow this use of imagery, specific sports skills imagery, because it has been shown to improve actual physical skill performance. It improves the mental side, improves the physical side, and it's proven. Eddie and Madhu talked about it in 2003. And then, so kind of overall in conclusion, we want to get to this altered state, altering your prepared state. How can we change the norm of what the athlete is? And allowing an athlete to become more creative, intuitive, and so confident that they feel invincible. Like that's the goal, as Naparstek said in 2000. I really agree with that. So the daily practice and believe in ourselves is what it takes every day, and we can get there. And on the last page, these are the references that were used throughout this presentation. Thank you, and have a great day. Great night.